I've obviously invited you here today because you are a user of the Brushing Plus smoothing system and the S Professional product range. So rather than getting a written review as to the products, and obviously that being very short, I just thought if I can get, it's like that honest opinion of the good points, and not there should be many very bad points, but if there are any bad points, what your opinion of the bad points are, just obviously so people know what it is that they're getting and what they're using and why people use it, why people choose it over some other product ranges out there. We'll dive straight in. The first part of the selection of questions are really why you chose it and what your expectations were of the product itself. What made you choose Brushing Plus specifically instead of other smoothing systems? And have you had any other smoothing systems on your hair before?
I've done it myself. I'm a very big advocate of saving money and doing it myself where I can. And I did prove to myself that I can't really do it myself. I got a very smelly, long-winded, difficult to apply product. And it did make my hair smoother for a little while, but I can't say it looked professional.
Yeah.
It helped me manage my hair. You can see I've brushed my hair this morning and I'm still struggling now to get my fingers through it because it's so thick and it's frizzy and heavy. So it did help with that a bit, but nothing near S Professional.
Where are you up to at the moment in, I know you've had the Brushing Plus on your hair in the past, as obviously, because you're a client of mine as well as one of my models. So where are you up to with, when did you last have this one done?
Oh, goodness. It was sometime last year, possibly October. Might have been even earlier. Long enough ago to be so desperate for my appointment on Wednesday in a couple of days.
To have it done on Wednesday. And one of the things that Rachel said to me was, do you think it'd be better having my Brushing Plus done before we have this review of the product? And I said, but it shows that this is, it's 6 months old, if not more. So we're talking November, December, January, February, March. Well, 5 months old at least, if not 6 months, isn't it? And as much as you know that it's ready for doing, it doesn't look totally frizzy like it normally would do. But and the other thing is to have it looking how it is before it's due to be done is a good way of showing people the before, but also the reasons why you have it done anyway and the reasons why you have a smoothing system done, whether it's this one or any other smoothing system. So it's due for doing.
Definitely. And the reason that I chose it is because you advocated it. You've been my hairdresser for years. I saw some of the things that you said it could do.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to trust you and give it a go. And I'm not disappointed that I did. I keep having it done over and over again. And I think I'll continue to have it done. Otherwise, I'll have to cut my hair off again.
Oh, no, we don't want that. Oh, no, shouldn't say that because it really suited you anyway. You're one of those people that your hair suits you long or short anyway, but you just wanted the chance because the reason why your hair was always short was because it was so thick and curly, and we persevered with being able to grow it, didn't we? And again, that takes that communication from the hairdresser to be able to guide you in the right way to do that. And obviously this is a result because it was very short, very cropped, wasn't it, initially?
And if it wasn't for S Professional, I wouldn't have long hair because as soon as we get off this call, I've worn it down so that it's nowhere near how big it usually is, but it's starting to, because I've just brushed it, it's starting to get bigger here. But as soon as we get off the call, I'm going to put it up because I don't like it like this. And then what's the point of having long hair if I put it up all the time? But S Professional means that I can keep it down, I can style it, I can do all sorts.
And the other thing with it, which obviously, because I know you, because obviously you are a client of mine and have been for a long time, is even though it's due for doing, which we're doing on Wednesday, but even though it's due for doing, and I know you're going to put it up because you don't like it like that, but it's swingy.
Yes.
It moves. Whereas without the S Professional Brushing Plus system, yes, you'd have long hair, but it would be, what you've washed it, you've actually dried it, you've straightened it, but it stays, it's like solid because it's like curly hair that's just been straightened with a heat. It's not got like the movement. I don't need this Professional, and mine moves, and when you move your head, it moves. And even though it's 6 months old, having it done, you've just done that with it and it moves.
It's usually like dog ears when it that's what I think. It just all goes together like that.
It swings
and it goes frizzy and here and it's big and it's
good. So before your appointment, what was the biggest hair frustration? What did you want it to solve before the first time you had it done? If you were to put it into one sentence, what was the one thing that you wanted the Brushing Plus smoothing system to solve?
I've got very thick hair. I had too much volume. It was unmanageable. It took hours to dry. Styling wasn't staying in because it was so heavy, and just it never looked smooth and professional. Those adverts where you shake your head, mine never shook.
I say we've just answered that one before, but that's the thing, it just never, it didn't move. It was like a wig because it just didn't move. When you imagine your ideal result from the smoothing system, what does it look like on a day-to-day basis? And I think because you've had it done, I think this will be the third time we do it Wednesday, so you've had it done twice. So obviously by answering that question, you've had what you've imagined. Before you had it done, what did you imagine?
Hair that looked as though I'd spent time on it. Either whether I had spent time on it or not. I could never get that with my hair. I never got the shiny, sleek. No matter how much I brushed it or styled it, it never looked good. Even when I came to you, at the end of the day, it started having these little wrinkly, frizzy curls here because that's just how it was.
So even having it professionally styled, you come in, you cut and blow, we smoothed it all out. But by the end of the day, the atmosphere, whatever it was, would just
have to breathe on it.
Just have to breathe. So what you imagined from it then, what you hoped from it was that when you had styled it yourself, that it lasted longer than a day, at least two.
This looks smooth and shiny.
And what matters more to you? Less frizz, less volume, straighter finish, or easy styling?
Oh gosh. All three. I think volume mainly.
Volume reduction.
Because it could be so big.
So reduce the volume, and then I think frizz reduction as well.
And easy to style.
Easy to style. Okay. What's the first thing you noticed about your hair after the Brushing Plus service?
It felt thinner in a really good way and so smooth.
Less bulky.
It moved. Yeah.
Thinner in the sense where you haven't got that bulk and volume.
I've got really thick hair and I didn't. It's coarse as well. Just feeling it feels like wire. And it was just so smooth and easy to put my fingers through.
What did you like most about the result? Shine, smoothness, manageability.
All those.
So since having the Brushing Plus, how do you find drying it and styling it?
So much easier. And it's such a pleasure that I could get up in the morning, brush it, and that would be it styled. But putting it up, I can do different things with it because it's not as bulky. Curling it, the curls stayed in. It stayed smooth.
So you find after having the Brushing Plus system that when you style it with a heated tongs, that stays in for you. You can...
I'm used to it not staying in. So it might not stay in like somebody else would expect it to stay in. But the fact that if I curl it really well in the morning, if it's dropped, but it's still got some shape to it and it's smooth and it's not frizzy and it's not... When I style my normal natural hair, it just goes big and it looks really ridiculous. And I can spend hours with curling tongs and then really regret that I'd put any heat near it. Whereas after the brushing, I can do it and it looks good to start with. And yes, it might drop. It's still got something in it and it's not so big. I still really like the finish, even though it's a looser finish than perhaps I'd started with. So for me, that's a pleasure rather than a...
So you've still got I always style mine with curling tongs, and then by the time I get to the end of the day, the curl is so much more relaxed. I haven't had the Brushing Plus, so that's a normal thing. What you're saying is the way it behaves is generally what normal hair would, whereas beforehand it was too bulky and thick to style anyway, so you never bothered. And it wouldn't, and then by the time you spent all that time on it, by you walking out and breathed, that it'd be frizzy and it wouldn't be curly, it'd just be frizzy anyway. After having the Brushing Plus system, you still get curl from it, and it still lasts you generally till the end of the day, even though it's softer.
Yes.
Lovely. If you had to describe the results in 3 words, what would they be?
Lighter, a glassy, because it's so shiny. And for me, it's fly away, but only in contrast to how it usually is. So I don't know what, when you do that and it all just falls, that's what I mean by fly away. Not that it's uncontrollable and it's annoying. It's just, I can't think of a word.
So before you had it done, obviously originally, that you styled it, albeit it didn't stay where it was, stayed where it's put, but then the surface of it had frizz. But if you went like that, it didn't move, it didn't swish.
No.
So where you're saying is the fly away is the fact that you get that swing because it's very immovable. If you get
the strands separate, whereas even now they're separating, but you can see it's more lumpy. And before as professional, it was
even worse. That's fine. It's understanding what that kind of fly away what you mean. It's the fact that you've got air in it and it moves.
Definitely.
Dislikes and improvements. So is there anything you would wish was slightly different about the result? More movement, more volume, or any straighter? Because one of the questions that we get asked a lot as far as the Brushing Plus in comparison to other makes is, does it straighten your hair? In other words, when you come to wash it after Brushing Plus, when you blast it off, you've still got movement to it. But what we find with the Brushing Plus is that although you've got movement to it when it's been washed and shampooed and conditioned, like after the occasion, so 2 or 3 weeks down the line, you wash it. And when you wash it, it can still look as if it's got movement in it. But the ability to just pretty much, if you wanted to just blast it dry and then your last 10 minutes just go over it with the brush, then you get that smoothness and the sleekness still. What Brushing Plus doesn't do is give you that poker straight hair that you can't style after the occasion. So the question being, is there anything that you would wish slightly different about it? More movement, more volume, straight? Is there anything different?
I think for me, it does go quite straight when I've had it done, because my hair's quite heavy, and it seems straighter because it's not straight before I've had it done. So sometimes I feel like it hasn't got any of its original skeleton in it.
Any structure in it. So your original structure would be, each hair would be different shape, but you haven't got any of the natural structure in it. And if you were to say that now in the way that it is, although we know it's ready for doing 6 months, because technically you've got your 6 months of regrowth, you've got 3 inches of what we know needs doing, because that's all fresh hair. This hair, although it's the memory of what your hair was like is coming back, would you say it's back fully, or no?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So at the very beginning, it seems very sleek, but very flat. But I like, although it feels a little flatter than I would choose, I like that, because I also know that I need to get to that, because over time it will loosen. My hair is definitely softer than it ever was, even 6 months later. I think it does everything that I want it to. I wouldn't keep having it done if it didn't. I don't think there's anything I'd change about the results.
Brilliant. That's what we like to hear. Were there any parts of the process that you didn't love? So this is a question about time, sensation, scent, the feel after.
It does take a long time, but that's because you've got to go through all the processes. So I think if you're pre-warned about how long it takes and you're prepared for that, I don't mind, because it lasts so long.
So we're 6 months in, and if it wasn't, obviously we're doing it on Wednesday, and you can plan for where you have it, but it's going to last you over that time, don't you?
So it's a big time investment to begin with. I don't spend a lot of time on my hair, so to me, how long does it take? Especially with my thick hair, it takes longer, doesn't it?
Yes. So initially, from the very first time we did it, and then obviously your hair's a lot longer now anyway, and it was quite a bit shorter when we first did the very first one, and everything from that very first appointment's got to be so precise because we're dealing with the whole kind of length of your hair. Now, because you're in a position now where you've got 3 months of regrowth, 6 months of regrowth, about 3 inches of regrowth there, that the service on that 3 inches has got to be precise, and we'd carry out the 3 steps. But then with the rest of it, because it's already reconstructed, that we don't need to overload that as a service and as a consultation, which we'll do obviously when we do it anyway, is we'll go through all of the how is the roots, the 6 months of growth, and that obviously needs doing. The rest of it, it's a bit like, do we refresh it or do we need to put it through fully to give you that kind of silky smooth? It will be silky smooth anyway, but because it's not come back to its full structure that it was beforehand, that we don't need to overlap. We've got steps 1 and 2 and 3. And we can choose when we do the consultation, we're going to do steps 1, 2 and 3 on the roots. Do we choose then to do steps 1 and 2 on the ends as we do in the way that we process it, and then just steps 3 on the roots, which is then the stronger of the services. But your steps 1 and 2 will be adequate from the where the regrowth stops and the rest of your hair is, and then that way still takes as long, but we're not having to be as thorough because we've taken it through more of a shampoo at the backwash or at the section. But we take it through at the back at the section, but it's because it's more of a shampoo consistency, we can take that through and treat that as the step 2. But we can discuss that on Wednesday when we have it done. But yeah, so the time aspect is
it's worth the investment because it's one chunk, but then you don't have to go back to the salon for top-ups for the treatment
for the 6 months, if it's lasting you 6 months. What did you think, if you can remember the scent of it? What did you think about that?
It was fine. It was pleasant.
It's quite a nice smelling product. It is pleasant. It's more kind of like a shampoo. It's more of a fragrance rather than a foul smell. Fragrance and foul, that's what we like. Have you noticed anything that surprised you in a good way?
How long it lasted.
And good. And that it's lasted the 6 months. In a bad way?
The only thing I find difficult is after treatment, and I may have misunderstood this, but after treatment, I don't think I can pin it or put a band in it because it might get a kink in it. Is that right?
So you've avoided doing that because you're worried about it getting a kink in it?
For the first few days after the treatment.
Right. So with the Brushing Plus, you shouldn't get that band in it. Because I think from other products, things like you can't put hair grip in it because you get that kink, and like you say with a band. So with the Brushing Plus, you shouldn't have that happen.
Okay.
When we do it on Wednesday, that you go ahead and do things that you've avoided to see the results of those things. And we can always just do a follow-up of this point, in fact, because that could be like a good, just doing this again and just doing a little Instagram kind of problems with, if we're doing a conversation like this, and if you're having problems with having a smoothing system and that happening, then we can then follow up on the fact that Brushing Plus doesn't do that. With the Brushing Plus system, it's promoted that we can complete the whole system. So on Wednesday, if you wanted, but I know time is one of those things, because to spend 2.5 hours having this done and then spend 3 hours having your colour done, not everybody's got that time in a day, whereas other people would book that time out in that day and just have the whole lot done, spend 6 or 7 hours in the salon, and then you're great for another 3 months. But with the Brushing Plus, we promote it that you can colour on the same day. So if having the whole smoothing system done and then you go putting a band in it and it kinks, it wouldn't be promoted that you could wash it then again, put colour on. Technically, it shouldn't happen, but it'd be great from having it done on Wednesday when you have it done is do exactly what you want to do with it, throw loads of clips in it, and then you can give us results on that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really good, because that would have been one of my drawbacks, because I work with children, not being able to tie my hair back. I work with young children and I really need to. So I have been wearing it down and risking it. But it's good to hear now that I can try putting it up and see what happens. And it shouldn't have any adverse effects.
And we'll do a follow-up on that after it as well, and then you could let us know what happens. Fab. So how is your hair behaving between washes compared to before?
Perfectly compared to before.
Next question. That's what we want to hear as a brand. That's what we want to hear.
I can get up, brush it, style it if I want to, put it up if I want to, leave it down if I want to, and walk out the house without thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, my hair's a mess, but I can't do anything about it. I just confidently walk out and it's shiny and it looks like I've spent time on it.
Yeah.
Whether I have or not.
Haven't spent a lot of time necessarily when you're working. Good. How does it feel when you run your fingers through it? Smoother, lighter, softer, and more controlled?
All of the above.
Because that's what the results that we want.
No.
It just get clogged up because the atmosphere had then made it frizz up internally, and you can't do that, can you?
Just putting product in my hair meant that I couldn't do that because it was so thick, it almost clogged it up even more. I used to curl it, and then when you go like that, just to loosen your curls, my hair would go like that.
Yeah.
Whereas now, they sit, yours sit, and that to me is really perfect.
And even obviously it's due for doing, but if you were to put curls in it to go out and do something, you wouldn't have that volume back in that same way. As much as we know it needs doing, it's still silky. It's just starting to volumize. I've
deliberately done nothing with it. I haven't curled it. I haven't. And the fact that it's lying so flat and so smooth, close up, I know there are little frizzy bits that will go.
And that's your root. That's the bit that's coming through, isn't it? That's the bit that needs. That's your natural.
If your hair didn't grow, I could manage this for months.
Stop.
And my hair will never stop growing. But I can tell that it's getting thicker and coarser, so I want it doing before it gets too wild.
Lovely. Have you noticed any changes in how well your hair holds a blow dry, waves and sleek finish?
I never used to bother when it was before brushing plus because it just was a mess, and now I can have fun with it.
And you do it and it lasts, it just softens down throughout the day, whatever you choose to do. Okay. How confident do you feel wearing your hair natural now versus before the service?
A lot more confident.
Good.
I think I'd have had it cut before now if it hadn't been for
I think so too. I think we got to a stage, didn't we, where it was around here, because I think at the point when we did the first one, it was the length was up here, and that's when I first started with the Professional, the product range itself, and it was like, in fact, I think you were probably one of my first.
You nearly said worst there. Say that again.
I know. I actually thought I was going to say that then. One of my first, not one of my worst. So one of my first clients to have it as a treatment, want it as a model, and I think we've gone through even the last one we did as well. It's showing, which we'll do on Wednesday. It's showing we've got the rootage that's grown through and the frizziness of that, and then we've got the hair that's already been treated, but it's not like showing your hair. If your hair was this length without the treatment, it's the fact that yes, it needs doing because it's starting to come back the volume, which you don't want. You want it back sleeker again, but it's not unruly to the point where it was before. That's why you're happy with it as long as we maintain this smoothness on it.
And it's still got smoothness and shine and all the things that my hair hasn't naturally.
Yeah, comparison and recommendations. So basically, I don't think you've had any other treatments done before. If you've tried any other systems, what feels different about Brushing Plus?
I would say that I haven't had another treatment apart from the one that I tried myself. And I don't feel I want to try anything else because this works so well. I don't feel I need to even explore what else is out there. This is the one for me. I won't be looking elsewhere.
So you've not had anything to compare to, which is fine. It's come into your life, and we're not going to go anywhere else, are we?
No, definitely not.
It was not something that you've always had short hair. So since I've known you had short hair, other ranges that I've used, it's the faff. And I know obviously you say about the time aspect of it, which is 2.5 hours, which is on the grand scheme of things, especially with people going longer in between appointments with hair colours and stuff like that, that because we're not sat in the chair for a couple of hours every 4 or 6 weeks having colours done these days, everybody's having lived in colours, that the 2.5 hours to 3 hours at most with the whole Brushing Plus system is that although it can appear long, it's not actually as long as some other services, and the way that the service is executed. So we have the step 1, a shampoo that's left on for 10 minutes, then we rinse that off and dry it, which it's the drying in between. Step 2 is a similar thing, but at this section that we apply at the section, which is left on for 15 minutes and then rinsed off and dried off. And then step 3 is applied more like a colour, which takes a bit more precision, and that's left on for 20. So each of the services is 20, 35, 45 minutes. So the whole kind of the way the treatment is applied is a 45-minute service. It's just the rinsing, drying, and then the smoothing at the end, which is obviously the length of your hair, which is the time-consuming bit, but none of it is offensive, none of it's uncomfortable. You've got loads of thick product on your hair. One of the things I will ask, because it has been mentioned, is the sensation on your scalp. So with steps 1 and 2, there isn't particularly a sensation, but with step 3, did you feel any sensation?
Yeah, it was
and can you remember what that felt like?
It was like a tingling that I wanted to scratch, a little bit like pins and needles, but a little bit sharper than that.
Okay.
I'm glad it didn't last any longer.
Yeah.
It wasn't painful. It was a little bit irritating, but not in a painful or angry way. It was just, I kept having to get the end of the comb, just to give it a quick scratch, and then that relieved it.
And once that was rinsed off, did that go? So it was just while it was on, touching your skin. When that was rinsed off, the sensation went, so it wasn't lasting, and there was no irritation after the occasion, post having the hair treatment done. Who would you recommend the Brushing Plus to, and what would you tell them it's best for?
Anybody that's struggling with the hair, whether it's thick and they want it to be more movement like mine, whether they're finding it difficult to style, whether it's messy curly and they want more sort of control over the curls, and I'd say give it a go. It's like, it was life-changing in a hair way.
No, that's brilliant, because that's what we want, and that's what we want to hear. And as much as I can say it to hairdressers in a room and say it's life-changing and you want to promote it to your clients, it's the testament that it comes from somebody that's had it done. Fabulous. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.